Hey, this is Ray with Train, Protect, Overcome. Today we're going to review products from Dark Ridge USA. They make fire starters that are a lot different from the ones that are out there, and I think it works a lot better. As you can see, they have a red one, which they originally came out with, but they also have an orange one that's kind of new. They also make accessories. You can see I'm wearing this hat from them, which fits my head really well, and it's hard for me to find hats that do fit me well. And they also have this shirt. They just recently changed the logo to include the American flag, which I like. It's very patriotic. As you can see, it has a lot of room in the torso area, and it fits my back really well. So with that, let's get going.
Hey everyone, this is Ray with Train, Protect, Overcome. Today we're going to talk about fire starters. As you know, fire starters are very important. If you don't have matches, not sure who carries matches anymore. Just kidding. You know, if you're a good prepper, you always carry matches, probably in a tin or waterproof baggie to keep them dry. I don't have any matches today. Usually someone will have a lighter. I might have a lighter in the vehicle. I'll have to go check. I don't know. Maybe a lighter will pop up like this one. Let's see if it works. I was hoping it wasn't going to work. This one's working. Let's forget about it. Let's pretend this is not working. We're going to talk about a fire starter out there that I found, I think maybe a year or two ago. I went to a off-road meet in Santa Rosa, and there was a bunch of vendors there. And that's when I first ran into Dark Ridge USA. They just came out with a new one. This is a version, they only had it in red. The version now comes in orange also. I kind of like the orange one because you're in the woods, everything's camouflage, right? Can't really see stuff. The brighter it is, the easier it is to find. So I like the orange, it sticks out. I like the red. My favorite color is red, but the orange sticks out. So if you're in the woods and you're trying to look for it because it drops somewhere, it's easy to pop out, easy to find. All right, so here's the two fire starters, the two different colors. Nothing structurally is different about them. Still has a storage area, still has a cap. The only thing different is just the colors. Here's the red one, the original one that I had, and then they came out with the orange one. All right, like I said, I met the owner of Dark Ridge USA at a off-road show in Santa Rosa a couple of years ago, and I've been carrying his fire starter for a couple of years now. No way associated with the company. I just think that product is very good, and their apparel comes out. The new logo, can't get enough of it. That flag, very patriotic. I usually wear an extra large shirt. This is an extra large. It's really roomy, so as you can see, there's a lot of room in it. It's very loose on me. It could maybe be in 2X sometimes. So if you wear 2X, this might fit you too. But as you can see, there's a lot of room here that I can move around, be comfortable with. Maybe have a few adult beverages next to the barbecue, eat a little bit more, and have still some room to fit this shirt. So I recommend either getting the shirt, hat, or both. Anyways, not getting paid, nothing, but I like the fire starter. Let me talk about the fire starter here for a little bit. Fire starter comes in, there is a cap here. Pull it open. It's not waterproof, but the cap keeps everything in and keeps everything from being lost. Inside is a striker. Striker to strike. And inside also, if I can get it out, it comes with two of these, but I used one earlier when we were camping the weekend, but I still have one in here. But you usually get two of these in here. There's the container here, or the storage area, is just enough to hold two of those and the striker. And you pop the pack on, or the cap back on, and you're good to go. So one thing about the fire starter, the structure of the fire starter, I was going to break it down. So like I said earlier, there's a cap. Open the cap up. There's a storage area where you can put stuff. In this, when you purchase the fire starter, you get two of these, and you get one striker. Those those fit in the storage area. Once you put it in, you can put the cap back on. The other thing regarding the fire starters, the reason why he created this fire starter is because when you're trying to start a fire with a fire starter, usually what's a couple of things that might inhibit the fire from starting or creating spark? Wind, right? Or maybe it's raining, or maybe it's sprinkling. So the reason why he created this fire starter, the structure this way, is because this little hood here, when you strike, all the sparks go underneath the hood here. So it prevents the wind from blowing, and it gives the sparks a place to go to and prevent it from the wind hitting it. So as you're striking, the sparks will go into this little area here with the hood or the cover, and then it'll shoot downward onto the fire if you have some kindling or whatever you're using to start the fire with. So this is the unique design of this fire starter. Once again, let me pull up the striker here. So when you're using a striker, you're striking, and then once you strike it here, boom, all the sparks will go underneath this hood or this cover and go downward. And if there's wind, usually if it's windy and you use another fire starter, it'll blow the sparks. But this actually creates a place for the sparks to go to, kind of pinpoints an area where the sparks will go to, and not just usually if you're using a regular fire starter or any other fire starter, you strike it and the sparks just fly everywhere. Well, when he designed this, he striked it. He wanted a hood to prevent the sparks from spreading everywhere. Like I said, it gives a focal point and a target where the sparks will fly underneath this hood or this cover and go downward, and then prevent it from sparking everywhere. So kind of pinpoints, keeps everything close together, all the sparks close together, and it has a place to go, which is inside underneath this hood or this cover and downward. So that's a special design, and this is the reason why he wanted to create this fire starter. So as I was saying, here's a fire starter, here's a striker. When I strike this, all the sparks will go into the hole underneath this cover of this hood, and then pinpoint and target the here down here. So I want to strike it here, and you'll see the sparks go downward, and see how fast it starts it. It goes underneath the hood and it's shot downward, and the sparks didn't fly everywhere. It had a target to go to, pinpointed it, kept everything condensed, and then right down onto that, right there to start that fire there. All right, so another good thing about this fire starter, not only does it have a storage area where you can put your striker and any other things, not only does this have the hood or the cover where it has a focal point where the sparks go to. See how when I spark it, it goes underneath the cover, it doesn't flare everywhere, and it goes straight down to whatever you're trying to light on fire. So, but also you can get wet. So I'm gonna pour water on this thing here. I'm gonna dap it off a little bit, and you can see it's still a little bit damp. So I'm gonna use a striker, and you can see there's gonna have some sparks there. And you see how even how it's still damp, you can still strike it, and you can still create sparks. So it doesn't necessarily have to be totally dry to create those sparks. I can also have it damp, wipe it off a little bit, see how it's still damp, and then create those sparks. And notice where the sparks go. Straight into that hole, underneath the cover, underneath the hood, and straight down. Like I said, there's a target, there's a focal point downward. Straight down, doesn't flare everywhere. So that's the other good thing about this fire starter here. All right, so that was my review of the Dark Ridge USA fire starters. Would I purchase these again? Definitely. Matter of fact, I might purchase another one to store in my other vehicle. So I'll have one in my truck, I'll have one in my bug out bag, and I'll have one in my other vehicle. But these are definitely worth getting. I showed you that the structure of why it was created this way, that the cover here or the hood, when you use a striker, the sparks go underneath here. So if it's windy or it might be drizzling, that it has a focal point or a target where it condenses all those sparks, and the sparks don't just fly everywhere. It goes underneath here and it goes down onto whatever you're trying to start, whether it be kindling, wood, whatever. These also come with the cap here and a little storage area where you can put your striker, any other Kindle or what, maybe some matches, just in case, who knows. But these are your two options right here. Like I said, I definitely buy this again. Definitely will buy. I'll probably buy another orange one, and that way I can put it in my other vehicle. Don't forget to check out their apparel now. Like I said, the new logos are on the hat with the flag. New logos on the new shirts too with the flag. And if you're patriotic, you got to get one or the other, maybe even both if you're feeling generous. But definitely check out Dark Ridge USA, the website darkridgeusa.com. Definitely a product worth getting if you're camping, hiking, overlanding. Because if you're overlanding, you got to create that fire so you can cook that food, boil some water, whatever. But definitely worth getting. If you're hiking, PCT, there you go. That's another option to get fire starter. If you run out of matches or your lighter stopped working because it's out of fuel, definitely worth getting right here. So anyways, this is Ray with Train, Protect, Overcome. Thank you for watching. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Train, Protect, Overcome. Hit a like on this video and make sure that you check out any future videos that we might have any reviews on any other products.
Once again, thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.